Loving Sai Ram and greetings once again from Prashanti Nilayam. For the last 5 months, maybe 6, I have tried to offer you glimpses of the Shirdi avatar. There are many reasons for my attempting this. My first reason, of course, is that many devotees who have come to Swami in recent years, especially the younger ones, might not have heard anything about Shirdi Baba, much less the fact that our beloved Swami is Shirdi Baba come again. Secondly, in the years to come, when Swami reappears as Prema Sai, devotees of that era could perhaps complete the links by recalling not only the story of Sathya Sai avatar, which is well documented, but also the story of Shirdi avatar, available, for example, from our archives. Apart from this historic continuity, I hope devotees of the Prema Sai era would realize how unequivocally Swami has declared his reappearance as Prema Sai in the years to come, well in advance of the event. That ought to silence many doubting Thomases. In other words, historical accounts of the avatars are needed for reassuring the faithful. Most important of all, I am sure all of you would not have missed the crucial fact that the message given by Sai in the Shirdi and the Parthi avatars remain exactly the same. Indeed, as Krishna told Arjuna, it has always been the same. Avatars come to give the same message again and again because mankind forgets the message again and again. That is why God comes in human form repeatedly. The form might be different, but the message always remains the same. One important fact of the Shirdi avatar was that it addressed a crucial fact of modern India, namely communal harmony, especially between the Hindu and the Muslim communities. It is remarkable that Baba was accepted by both the Hindus and the Muslims. Baba achieved this rather quietly without any fanfare, and his secret was love, the universal and selfless love that God alone can shower. By doing all he could to bring the two major communities together, Shirdi Baba was in fact setting the stage for our own beloved Swami, who is bringing the people of many religions from all over the world together. Many years ago, Dr. Hanumantappa, who preceded me as the Vice Chancellor of Swami's University, told me of a conversation he once had with Swami. Apparently he told Bhagavan, "Swami, all your Leelas must be compiled, written up and published." Swami laughed and replied, "That would be an impossible task. Is it ever possible to collect all the water that flows through the Ganges? My Leelas are like that." Indeed, even so, I would like to briefly narrate 2 Leelas of Shirdi Baba in this talk. The first one concerns a devotee named Bala Sahib Dev, who lived in a place called Dahanu, not far from Bombay. The mother of this Dev was a very pious lady, and she had observed many vows for the welfare of all. The austerities now had to be formally concluded with a special ritual called Udyapan ceremony, which included a ceremonial lunch for the invitees. They very much wanted Shirdi Baba to come for the ceremony Udyapan and bless it, and expressing his earnest desire, he wrote a letter to Baba in which he said, "Baba, I am a poor government servant. I do not have the means to come all the way from Dahanu to Shirdi to personally invite you. That is why I am sending this letter. But please, Baba, do come and bless us all." Bala Sahib Dev sent this letter to his friend Jog in Shirdi and asked Jog to place his prayer before Baba. Accordingly, Jog read the letter. Baba listened very carefully while Jog was reading because Bala Sahib Dev's letter was full of pure love. After Jog finished reading the letter, Baba said, "I always remember those who remember me. I need no horses or carriages or trains. To him who calls out to me, I appear instantly without a moment's delay. Jog, you, me and a third one, we 3 shall go together. Write to Dev conveying this information." Jog did what Baba asked him to, and when Dev received the letter from Jog, he was overjoyed. Baba would surely come and the Udyapan day would be my golden day, Dev said to himself. About a month or so after all this happened, a sannyasi showed up in Dahanu and went to the local station master. He told the station master that he was concerned about cow protection and needed money for that. Could the station master please guide him to people who would be willing to contribute? The station master said, "Go into town to the house of the Mamlatdar, the village chief. His name is Dev. He is an influential person. All the rich people in the village come to him to get things done. If they find that the Mamlatdar supports you, then they would give you donations." Even as the station master was telling the sannyasi all this, it so happened that Dev himself came to the station in his horse carriage. The station master said, "Look, the Mamlatdar has himself come here." The sannyasi explained his project to Dev and made his request for funds. Bala Sahib Dev said, "Listen, we have just started an important charity project in the village and people have already made contributions or made commitments. Your project is good, no doubt, but right now funds have dried up. I'll tell you what, you come after 3 or 4 months. Maybe we could help you then." A month or so later, the sannyasi came again to Dahanu and went to Dev's house. It was the day of Udyapan and elaborate arrangements had been made for the feast. Through the window, Dev saw the sannyasi approaching his house and he was not happy. He mumbled to himself, "I told this fellow to come after some months and he is already here. I don't like this." Even so, when the sannyasi knocked on the door, Dev opened it. The sannyasi noted Dev's restlessness and said, "I have not come for money. I just wanted to see you, that's all." Dev was relieved and said, "Sir, we are about to have our meal. Would you be so kind as to join us? We would be delighted if you could." This was in the good old Indian tradition of welcoming guests, especially sannyasis. The sannyasi replied, "I would be happy to, but there are 2 others with me." To this Dev said, "Where are they? Can I help you to fetch them?" The sannyasi replied, "No, you need not bother about that. I shall go and fetch them myself. Just tell me when I should be here." Dev said in reply, "O saint, please be back by noon and we shall have our meal at that time." The sannyasi and his 2 companions came exactly at noon and joined the feast. It was a great meal and all guests were treated royally. Naturally, they were all very happy. The guests were then all seen off by the host Dev in the traditional style, and the sannyasi and his 2 companions also took leave and left. When all had gone, Dev sat down and reflected. He was sad that Baba had not come. Baba sent word through Jog that he would come, but he did not. Why? Bala Sahib Dev then took a piece of paper and poured his anguish into that paper in the form of a moving letter to Jog. "Why did not Baba come as he said he would?" asked Dev. "Was there any explanation for this?" Dev continued. Jog received this letter and promptly read it out to Baba. Baba said in reply, "Jog, even before you read out that letter, I knew what was in it. Your friend Dev says I deceived him. Tell him, if he did not recognize me, why on earth did he invite me? I had promised that I would go there with 2 other persons. Did not a sannyasi and 2 others come there just in time for the feast? Was not the Dev afraid I would ask for money, and did not the sannyasi assure Dev that he had not come for money? When this Baba gives his word, he would even give up his life to keep that word. Tell your friend that." When Jog heard Baba say all this, he was electrified. He realized one more time that when Baba gives his word, he always keeps it. Jog then sat down and wrote a detailed letter describing all this. When Bala Sahib Dev received that letter, he felt ashamed and cursed himself for doubting Baba. As Hemad Pant says, quote, "When the devotees surrender at his feet, their auspicious functions are performed quite unexpectedly in this same way. truly incomprehensible are the ways of these saints. End of quote. In the case of Bala Sahib Dev, Shirdi Baba visited his house in the garb of a sannyasi. Listen now to an experience of Hemat Pant, in which Baba comes to him in an even more subtle form. This incident happened in the early part of 1917. One day in the early hours of the morning, Baba appeared in the dream of Hemat Pant and said to him, "Today I am coming to your house for a meal." Having said so, Baba disappeared. Hemat Pant woke up with a start. He realized that the words he heard were in a dream. But then this was no ordinary dream. It was a dream in which Baba had appeared and given a promise. It had to be taken seriously. Now, if Baba is coming as a guest, clearly a proper meal had to be prepared, and that meant that Hemat Pant had to tell his wife about it. He was not sure if his wife would accept his word, especially if it was based on a dream. So, Hemat Pant just told his wife, "Listen, we are going to have a guest today. So, please cook some extra and also make it a nice meal, will you? Remember, today is the festival of Holi and the lunch must be great." The wife listened and her curiosity was aroused. Naturally, she asked, "But you did not tell me who is coming. Who is it?" Hemat Pant tried to hem and haw, as they say, but the lady was too tough for him. Eventually, he had to tell her that it was Baba who would be coming. This made her very skeptical. She said, "What do you mean? Do you mean to say that Baba will be coming here all the way from Shirdi, and that too on the day of the Holi festival? He would be busy there in Shirdi. I am not ready to accept this." It took a lot of persuasion on the part of Hemat Pant to get his wife to agree to cook a feast for Baba. Noon, the time Baba was expected, was drawing close. The puja was over and preparations were made for serving the meal. The entire family was there, sons, daughters, their spouses, grandchildren, etc. Of course, a special seat had been reserved for Baba. Soon, all the places were occupied and everyone anxiously awaited the arrival of Baba. Just at that time, footsteps were heard outside and a voice was calling out. Hemat Pant went to the door and opened it. He saw two persons there. One named Ali Muhammad and the other was named Ismu Mujawar. Hemat Pant invited them both in. The two visitors seemed very happy. Ali Muhammad said, "Sir, I am very sorry to disturb you like this at a time when you are apparently ready to have your lunch. But I will not take more than a minute. Please accept this thing I have specially brought for you. Later I shall meet you and tell you all about it." So saying, Ali Muhammad took out a parcel. He placed it down and began to unwrap it. And when he did so, there stood a bas-relief of Shirdi Baba. Ali then said to Hemat Pant, "Sir, please accept this from me." Hemat Pant saw the bas-relief of Baba. He realized that Baba was appearing in his house in this form. He was not disappointed that Baba did not appear in the physical form. On the contrary, he was thrilled that Baba had kept his promise. Pant then asked Ali, "Where did you get this?" Ali replied, "I shall tell you all about that some other day. Now please allow me to leave. I do not wish to disturb you any further." So saying, the two left. Hemat Pant was no doubt very happy that Baba had made his appearance and kept his promise. But his curiosity about the bas-relief remained. He waited and waited for Ali Muhammad to come to him and tell the story of that beautiful representation of Baba, but Ali never came. However, it so happened that many years later, Hemat Pant ran into Ali by chance while he was walking on a road. Excitedly he said, "Ali, what luck! I have been waiting for you for so long. Now you must tell me without a moment's delay the story of that wonderful bas-relief that you brought to my house one holy day a long time ago." Ali replied, "Yes, I shall do just that. It's a great Leela of Sai Baba. I do not understand it all, but I shall certainly tell you the story as I know it." And this is what Ali told Hemat Pant. Let us hear Hemat Pant narrate that story. Quote, One day in the city of Bombay, as I was walking on the road, I saw a trader selling beautiful pictures in bas-relief. Looking at those pictures of saints and holy men, I was drawn to them. One bas-relief attracted me very much, and it happened to depict my favorite saint. I was at that time already a devotee of Sai Baba, and seeing that bas-relief of his, I was impatient to purchase it. I then did so on the spot. I took that bas-relief home and had it displayed prominently. I had darshan of it every day. 3 months before I gave you that bas-relief, I was staying with my brother-in-law Nur Muhammad Peerboy. My leg had been operated upon and was swollen. I could not move, and so I stayed with Nur Muhammad for 3 months. During that period, my house was empty. No one was staying in it. End of quote. Now this is where the story gets interesting. You see, this Nur Muhammad was a disciple of a Muslim saint named Abdul Rahman of Bombay. Many years prior to the event I am now describing, Ali Muhammad one day obtained from a person a picture of the saint Abdul Rahman. Since his brother-in-law was a great devotee of Abdul Rahman, Ali Muhammad gave the photo he had obtained to his brother-in-law Nur Muhammad. The latter put the photo in a drawer and forgot about it. 8 years passed, and one day, opening the drawer, this Nur Muhammad came across the photo of the saint he admired, namely Abdul Rahman. He then took it out, went to a photographer, got the photo enlarged, and had many copies made. These copies he presented to his friends and relatives who were followers of Abdul Rahman. One fine day, Nur Muhammad took a copy of this picture to his patron saint Abdul Rahman himself. His idea was to present the picture to Abdul Rahman and seek his blessings, rather like many devotees do by taking Swami's photo to him and ask for his blessings. It so happened that this Abdul Rahman was against image and idol worship, and when the photo was offered to him by Nur Muhammad, Abdul Rahman became furious. He blasted poor Nur, was absolutely devastated. It was just too much being insulted in public by one whom he loved so much. With a heavy heart, Nur Muhammad returned home, and the first thing he did was to pick up the picture of Abdul Rahman he had hung on the wall. He then went straight to Apollo Bandar, hired a boat, and went to sea. After having gone some distance, Nur Muhammad consigned the picture of his favorite saint to the sea. He did not stop there. There were 6 pictures he had distributed. He called back for all of them, went to the seashore in Bandra, located a fisherman, gave him all the pictures, gave him some money and said, "Go as far as you can in the sea and throw all these pictures into the sea." This disposal of pictures of Abdul Rahman had all happened while Ali Muhammad was staying in Nur Muhammad's house. However, Ali Muhammad was too ill at that time to know about these events. Later, his brother-in-law Nur described all these events and said to Ali, "Listen, you have many pictures in your house. They are not good for you. If you want to get better in health, I would advise you to straight away get rid of those pictures." When Ali Muhammad heard this, he decided to act. This is how Hemant Pant describes what Ali actually told him. Quote, "I called my assistant and gave him the keys of my house. I then told him to go there and bring the photos of all the saints in my house. I then entrusted these photos to my brother-in-law to be disposed of. My brother-in-law Nur at once sent for his gardener and got them immersed in the sea waters near the Chimbai temple. After 2 months had passed and I felt better, I went back to my house. When I entered it, I was astonished. The bas-relief that I gave you was still there, hanging on the wall facing the door. I was greatly surprised. I told myself, the assistant had brought all the pictures. How then did he miss this one, the bas-relief? I then took it down and hid it in a cupboard. I felt in my heart that if my brother-in-law Nur were to see it, he would immediately take it away from me and immerse it in water." End of quote. So there was the bas-relief in Ali's cupboard, and he did not quite know what to do with it. One thing was certain. He did not want it thrown away or drowned in water. Sai Baba was his favorite saint, and he did not want to be disrespectful to any representation of Baba. So Ali consulted a Maulana named Mujawar Ismu. The Maulana felt that the bas relief would be safe with Anna Sahib, that is Hemad Pant. That was when they decided to come to Hemad Pant's house and hand it over. This fascinating incident brings out 2 points. The first is that Baba showed a way to Ali to deal respectfully with the bas relief of Baba, whom he loved very much. The second is that Baba used Ali to tell Hemad Pant that he had come as promised in the dream, though maybe not in the physical form. In fact, the bas relief was a constant reminder to Hemad Pant of how beautifully Baba kept his promise. One of the fascinating aspects of creation is that nothing is ever static. There is always change. In fact, if nothing changed, time would cease to have a meaningful concept. Thus it is in physics. Time as a concept is linked to the interval between what are called events. What I am trying to drive at is that even where avatars are concerned, there comes a time when they give up the body. As Swami has pointed out, though the avatars hold the infinite power of God in their hands, they deliberately submit to time. This is indeed one of the most remarkable aspects of incarnations. They are above time and control it. Yet, as a part of their cosmic drama, they bow to that very same time after having played out their part. It has always been that way, whether it was Rama or Krishna or whatever. Inevitably, it was the same with Shirdi Baba also, and the moment began to approach when he would pull the curtain down. It all started with one Ramachandra Patil becoming very sick. This happened sometime around 1917 or so. Patil tried all kinds of remedies and treatment but did not seem to get better. He was tired of suffering and began to pray fervently to Baba to relieve him of his body. While Ramachandra Patil was in this state of body and mind, Baba suddenly appeared before him one midnight. Patil prayed to Baba and said, "Baba, I have suffered enough in the body. I now want relief. Please tell me, when would death come to me? I am waiting for it." Baba, who was the very embodiment of compassion, said in a loving voice, "Ramachandra, why are you so worried? Your death warrant has been withdrawn and you are no longer in danger of dying. Believe me, soon you would get well. It is Sathya I am worried about. He will go to the heavenly abode on Vijayadashmi day in the year 1918. But don't tell Sathya about this, for he is likely to become frightened." True to what Baba said, Ramachandra Patil did get better and soon recovered completely. He was naturally happy about escaping from the jaws of death, but he now began to worry about Sathya Patil. Obviously, Ramachandra could not tell Sathya, but at the same time, he could not contain the news. So, he shared it with his tailor, one Bala Shimpi. Months passed, and the time for Sathya to depart came near. It was the year 1918, and around late August, early September, Sathya became bedridden. He was so ill he could not go to the mosque to have Baba's darshan. Meanwhile, Baba too came down with fever and he also became confined to bed. As Vijayadashmi day approached, both Ramachandra Patil and his tailor Bala Shimpi broke into cold sweat. They had reason to feel that way. Sathya's pulse was getting feebler and feebler. His relatives were frightened. Sathya, however, had full faith that Baba would protect him. And you know what happened? Baba gave up his body while Sathya survived. It was as if Baba had exchanged places with Sathya Patil. Something memorable and very significant happened just before Baba shed the mortal coil. Let us hear about it from Hemad Pant himself. Quote, "When there was hardly a moment left for life to depart, one knows not what came into Baba's mind. Baba put his hand into the pocket of his kafni. The virtuous Lakshmi, whose conduct justified her name and who was always absorbed at Baba's feet, was with him at that time. This was that Lakshmi Bai Shinde who used to serve faithfully in the mosque, observing all the rules and regulations about her work. Although life rose into the throat in extreme distress, though the body was exhausted and there was no strength left, yet Baba gave in charity with his own hands to Lakshmi in that moment of life ebbing away from the body. Baba took out 5 rupees first and then again 4 rupees and placed them in Lakshmi's hands. End of quote. Hemat Pant wonders about the significance of Baba giving 9 rupees to Lakshmi Bai. Why 9 rupees, he wonders. The significance of that has been explained by our beloved Bhagwan. Swami says that those 9 rupees represent the 9 paths of devotion. To get back to the story of the last moment, after giving Lakshmi Bai the money, Baba sent away the devotees near him, commanding them to go and have their noon meal as usual. Go to the Wada and come back after having your meal, Baba said. At first the devotees were not ready to obey. No one was interested in food at that moment. How could they be? So Baba again said, go and have your meal and then come back. This time they silently left. Soon, the Shirdi avatar, having completed his divine mission, also left, his mortal coil lying on the lap of Bayaji Kote. At this point, frankly, I am at a loss for words. What does one say describing the departure of the avatar? For one with body consciousness, to which all of us are subjected, it is a painful moment. But for God, it is just the end of one act in his never-ending drama. He withdraws only to reappear again. He is thus not really gone. He withdrew as Rama only to come as Krishna. He withdrew as Krishna only to come as Shirdi Sai. If we see Rama, Krishna and Baba as different people, it is because we are used to seeing bodies in the outer forms. But if we see it all as God, we would never talk of either God going away or God coming, for He is ever there, everywhere. At this point, let me quote for the last time the powerful words of Hemat Pant. Quote, this large vehicle of 3.5 cubits, which is the framework of this body with all its organs, is this really all that our Sai is? Give up this delusion totally. If Sai is only this body, then there is no term for the incorporeal spirit, nor has it any form. But Sri Sai is beyond form. That power beyond form is the real Sai. There is no place without that power, and all the 10 directions are empty in its absence. That power pervades the whole of animate and inanimate creation. And Sai's incarnation is also the same state. What was unmanifest earlier has now manifested itself, bearing a form and a name. And having completed the mission, the manifest has now merged with the unmanifest again. End of quote. I think Hemat Pant puts it far better than I can. It's time to wind up. This has been the longest continuous series that I have done over Radio Sai, running into 20 broadcasts and spreading over 5 months. I do hope you benefited from it even as I have. I did this series for 2 reasons. The first was to help me to get back to Shirdi Baba and become familiar again with his life and teachings. The second was to draw parallels with our Swami. At the end of it all, I find that Shirdi Baba is Sathya Sai Baba and there is no difference. That is to be expected, is it not? During all these months, I have not heard much from you by way of comment. At least now I hope some of you would take the trouble to write back to tell me what you thought of it, whether it was useful in any way, whether it could have been better, and so on. When one is speaking to an audience seated in front, one has a means of gauging whether the audience is being carried along or not. But with radio broadcast, that is not possible. So the only way I can know whether or not I have done the job is when you write back. Feedback is vital for radio service. So even if it means you have to spend a few minutes, Please do always make it a point to write about every program of ours. It would help us very much to serve you better. Thank you for being with me all these weeks. Jai Sai Ram.
शिर्डी माझे पंढरपूर, साई बाबा रमावर, बाबा रमावर, साई बाबा रमावर. शुद्ध भक्ती चंद्रभागा, भाव पुंडलिक जागा, पुंडलिक जागा, भाव पुंडलिक जागा. याहो याहो अवघे जन, करू बाबासी वंदन, साईसी वंदन, करू बाबासी वंदन. गणू म्हणे बाबा साई, भाव पाव